Hey, bosses, welcome. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how you can quit your job and using real estate. So, what I'm excited about this is because in Wealthy Family Network, we go over how you can be able to quit your job, but more importantly, it's about building wealth. And so, using real estate can give you short term opportunities. We're going to how you can really be able to quit your job. Now, what I'm about to give y'all, you want to get your pens, get your papers ready because this is really a plan that you can use to be able to do this. We've done this to be able to quit our jobs, and you can do this too, and you can do it part-time even if you don't even have the schedule. I promise you, you can do this, okay? Now, this right here, just to lay some pre-ground, like I said, we teach this in Wealthy Family Network. This is part of the way that we get you started. But once you start getting started and you really want to build your portfolio, then you can add on to that. But the first thing we're trying to do is fire your boss. I hate to say it like that, but even if you work for yourself, this can give you an opportunity to be able to earn extra income outside of your job and or your current business that you're doing. And the good thing is for my business owners, I want you to understand that you as a business can also own real estate. I'm gonna give you an example. If you go to McDonald's, which I do not like McDonald's, I don't eat there, but we're going to use them as an example. The way that they really make their money is with real estate. Whenever you purchase your McDonald's, you're purchasing that franchise, right? But that comes with land, it comes with a building. So McDonald's actually owns the land in the building. So even if you, the franchisee, don't work out, they still own the asset, which is real estate. And so that already tells you how you, how powerful um how powerful real estate really is. And so during and so this right here is kind of that the plan we're going to lay out. And here's the good thing is in the boot camp we go into this even more, okay? So my goal is to get you in 5 years to get you to six figures. Okay. Whether that is six figures in the bank or six figures in income, however you want that to look like. Usually, when it comes to you trying to fire your boss, you're trying to replace your income. And so, usually around there, we around the 2,000 to $7,000, right? That's usually about where our bills is billing. And so, if we use that as our groundwork, and some of us is higher, which I get that, but there's things that you can do to lower your expenses over time and things like that. But today we're going to talk about the income part of this, okay? So the first thing I want you to do, all right, I'm about to go right into it. The first thing we're going to do is take the first 5 years and acquire properties. Take the first 5 years and acquire properties. If you already own a property, you got a head start. So you can either utilize and leverage the property you currently have and be able, if you have equity in that home, you could be able to use that to start your real estate portfolio. Or you could be able to move out and go and move into another house and repeat this plan for the next 5 years. So that's a little house hacking tip, right? Where you can live in a house for a year and then rent it out after a year. Go move to another house, buy it as a primary. You put less down, right? And then you after a year, you go rent it out again, right? So that can be, and I'm just giving you that as an example. That's a way that you can really be able to grow your portfolio. But for those that don't want to move out of their house, they're fine with their situation. They just want to buy the property so they can fire their boss, right? So during these 5 years, our goal is to acquire one house a year. Okay. That one house a year. Oh, sorry, y'all. That one house a year is going to allow for you to be able to begin to start earning cash. Now, heads up, you ain't going to be rich off of this, depending on how you structure it. But we're going to say $500 is what you want to get at least for each house. Okay. At least you want to get profit out of that house, $500. And when you have a plan, which we teach in the 100K Payday Bootcamp, when you have a plan, you can actually see how can I make $500 per property per month. Okay. So this is our goal. We want to make $500 per property per month. Now, remember, we're buying these properties every year, right? For the next 5 years. Now, I know some of y'all say, I want to fire my boss in a year or 2 years. Well, then just take 5 years. Instead of doing 5 years, you do 5 properties in a year, or 5 properties in 2 years, or 5 properties in 3 years. But we're just using a base of 5 properties. Okay. So those 5 properties, we're going to say we want at least $500 per month. Now you can structure these deals so that you can make $500 a month. What's important about how you make the profit per month is going to be the rental rate and your mortgage. Okay. That's the basics. Your rental rate and your mortgage. Like if you understand that, then you can make $500 a month profit off your properties. But you got to know what you need to add in. All right. Y'all with me? All right. We on our way. We firing our boss. 5 years. Y'all may look, I understand it may seem like that's far from now, but it is not. You can do this in 5 years. We've done it part-time in 5 years. You can do it too with a busy schedule in kids and traveling. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. All right. So we're going to take the next 5 years and we want to acquire 5 properties. Okay. 5 properties. Now, here's the kicker. I know that only brings you $2,500 per month. Okay. Once you fire your boss, it's $2,500 a month. Now, when you pay that mortgage down, as you're paying that down, you get to make more of that. But I know you like, Tashana, that is not enough. $2,500 a month is not enough. That just covers my mortgage. I get it. It's all right. At least your mortgage is covered and you still live at home. You still can live in your home. So here's the kicker. If you really want to fire your boss, you got to be strategic with how you're going to set everything up. Okay. So you acquiring 5 properties, and you can acquire more. I'm just doing 5 properties as our little base here. Okay. Now, after you've acquired your properties, right, there's called a pay down period where your renter is going to begin to pay down your mortgage during this time. Now, you don't have to pay this mortgage down if you don't want to, and you can just, allow the $2,500 come to you. Or during those 5 years, you want to add to that so that you can pay it down even quicker, right? Because the whole point is to make more income, right? You're trying to match the income you already have at your job. Now, this is only one of the ways, you guys, that we're talking about right now. So during that time, while you're at your job, you're being strategic. You're saying, I'm going to acquire these properties. I'm making a profit. And so what I'm going to do with that money, I'm going to pay down as much as I can so that when I'm ready to quit, I don't have a bunch of bills. And during that time, I have even more cash flow coming in. You'll be amazed what you can do in 5 years. You will be amazed with not only how many properties you can get, but also how you can really increase your income during this pay down period. Okay. Now this is 5 years, you guys. You're being able to put yourself in position to leave your job in 5 years. Okay. So during that pay down period, you're paying it down. You can be collecting the cash, keeping it in your pocket, or you could be paying it down. I suggest we do the latter. Pay it down. I'm telling you, pay it down during this time, because your goal is to fire your boss. So think of it like this. If you are building a business, it takes what? Time, money, energy. Like if you don't have the time, you better have the money to put towards it. If you don't have the money, you got to put the time. And the good thing about real estate is if you don't have the time, you can still find the time to find the properties. You can still find the time to have someone fix it up. You just got to be smart about your choices that you're making when you are purchasing. Okay. So as you are doing this during these 5 years, your goal is to get your income down as much and raise that income as much, because you can only lower your costs so much. but your income, sky's the limit. Okay, sky is the limit. And so during this time, we want to be increasing our income and paying down our expenses in order to be able to fire our boss. All right. So as you are acquiring your properties, now during is you're getting one property a year. This is slow rolling, y'all. Slow rolling. One property a year. So your goal is to have $500 per property, okay? And each of those properties we want to make at least 45,000. Whether you are selling, which generational wealth is not being built if you sell it, or if you are refinancing and keeping that property. So we want to get at least $45,000 per year. Okay. Now, if you're doing this and you're not touching this money at all, not touching it at all, okay, 5 years from now, you'll have $225,000. I know some of y'all like, I fire my boss after 45,000. But let's just say you allow this to sit in a high yield saving account. Now you have 225,000, right? So that's just a short stick of how you can be able to fire your boss very quickly in 5 years. Like that's basically how you can do it. But what I want you to understand is that 225,000, I want you to reinvest it and go make more money. Because during this time, yes, you can fire your boss because you got over 200,000 sitting in your account. You got $2,500 a month coming in. You done lowered your expenses. You ready, right? But one of the things that we teach in the 100K boot camp is to reinvest that money to make more money. Now, you don't have to reinvest it all. I get that. Things have to be paid off, things like that, right? But a portion of that you need to go and reinvest. Okay. Now, I'm going to give y'all an example. If you're close to retirement, one of the things that we used to do is we used to have a retirement vehicle that when we had clients nearing retirement, we'll put them in certain retirement vehicles that will allow for them to make money. Okay. And this retirement vehicle allow for them to also earn an income when they was ready to actually reach retirement age. But oftentimes we want to fire our boss now, right? We don't want to have to wait until we hit retirement age. But we're going to take a portion of that, okay? And we're going to put it into what I like to say is an annuity. What I like about that is because it allows for you to be able to earn income from it when you're ready to reach retirement age, okay? This is only one way. So let's say you are 40, all right? My 40-year-olds, where you at? And you say, okay, I want to fire my boss really by 50, right? So that's a 10-year plan. But 5 years from now, I know for sure if I follow this plan Tashana just laid out or be in the 100K club, then I know at 45, I will have $225,000. Okay. So if you were to take a portion of that and reinvest, you will have doubled your returns, right? By 50. But our goal, by 55, excuse me. So a portion of that, you've already doubled your returns. But here's the thing that I want you to understand with real estate. This is the power of real estate, right? Let's say that you took 100,000 of that money, right? You're retired now, okay? And you say, well, I got $2,500 because I got 5 properties giving me $500 a month, right? There's a couple of things you can do. You can either continue to pay down your properties you have and apply that so you can increase your income. So your 5 properties can easily go from 500 a month to 900 per month profit, right? And so now you're earning a little bit more. So what does that look like? Now you're making what? For $4,500 a month. And this is off just 5 properties. But let's say you paid it all off. Now you're making $1,200 per property. That's $1,200 per property. Now you're making $6,000 off these properties, right? So now you're bringing in your $6,000. But guess what? As you paying down your mortgage, guess what happens? You have more available cash to use. That's the power of real estate. Now, this isn't really the case with trailers, mobile homes, or manufactured homes. They do not, disclaimer, they do not increase in value as much as a single family residence, townhomes, things like stick builds. Okay. So that is a disclaimer. But trailers can make you money too. Especially if you buy them for the low. Okay. You can take $100,000. So I'm gonna make sure y'all keeping up. We got 5 properties. There's a couple of options we can do to fire our boss. Over those 5 years, we got $225,000 in our account. We can either pay down what we have to increase that monthly income, right? Or we can go buy some more properties. Now let's do this. Let's say you have 100,000 and you decide I'm going to go buy 3 more properties, right? Buy 3 more properties. You just increase your income again because those 3 properties, let's say you're still getting 500, that's an extra 1,500, right? Now you're up to $4,000. Now I get it, 4,000 probably ain't enough for you to quit your job. But remember what we said. If you pay down those properties, right? Now you're making $900 for 8 properties. That's $7,200, right? And then you continue, say, hey, I'm about to pay this down again, right? And now those 1,200 that you was making for 5 properties, now you're getting it for 8. Now you're close to $10,000 a month. Profit. Part-time, semi-passive. The reason why I say it's semi-passive is because you got to put in the work right then and there. And nobody has to call you. Nobody has to call you, right? So like for instance, when something happens with our clients, they put it in the maintenance, and then we're that already, and then the maintenance people go out. We don't go fix toilets unless we want to, but we're not, right? So it's your option whether you want to fix toilets for people or not. You don't have to, right? So if you really want to fire your boss, you got to start thinking like an investor and not like an employee, because you can't be trading time for money no more, right? You got to figure out, how can I leverage what I have in the money that I have right now? Because if you're able to leverage that, that's how you're able to take it to another level. Here's case in point. Let's say you are a coach or a consultant, right? And you say, Tashana, I work for myself, but you're limited on how many coaching clients you can take. You're limited on how many consultations, free consultations that leads to clients that you can take. So if that's the case, then we got to figure out a way to leverage your money. And what's the best way to leverage your money is become an investor. Why? Because your money is going to work for you, but you got to have a system on how that's going to happen. So for instance, in the 100K club, right? The system that's set up specifically is designed for you to make 100K per year, at least 100K in your bank account, and 100K at least in equity, to show you how to do that, right? Because we want to be able to always have access to cash, right? Cash on hand. Real estate gives you access to that. If you want to start a business, guess what? You got the cash on hand. You become the bank. If you need money in the bank, guess what? You got real estate that you can leverage to have money in the bank, tax free. If you need income coming in every month, right? You're able to leverage the properties that you have and build wealth over time and allow your renters to pay it off. Now, I know somebody going to say, well, all renters ain't good renters. Of course, that's the risk. Every business, everything that you do carries a risk and a reward. But are you willing to risk not being able to retire, work until you 70, having to do things that you don't want to do because you're not taking the necessary steps to become an investor? We don't want to put ourselves in that position, right? So we want to be able to be free. How do we do that? We got to build income outside of our jobs. I love being a business owner. I love it, right? But there are things that I have to put in place so that I can leverage my not only my business, but I know that real estate allows for me to leverage my business, whether I want to purchase properties with my clients or just purchase properties for myself. But I also know that leveraging real estate gives me the ability to free up more of my time to build an income. So if you're looking to really put yourself in position in the next 5 or 10 years, you may say that's long. It's not. We already out of COVID, y'all. That's starting in what, 2020? We in 2025. 5 years gone. What did you do? What did you do during them 5 years? Back then, that's when, so just a little bit of background. Me and my husband, when we first started, we used our first house, right? We used our first house. We had, when I tell y'all, it was the worst story in the world. We had the worst renter that you can think of. Skipped out on rent, infestation, left us with all kind of stuff all in the property. Like it was the worst case. We said we're done. Didn't done, right? But when COVID hit, our house was rented out, right? We was traveling with my husband with his job. House was rented out. We couldn't come to our own house because it was all the basement and the bottom was rented out. We ain't had nowhere to go. So we said, you know what? What's the best thing we can do? Let's go and get some properties. And that's when we restarted that was 5 years ago, y'all. 5 years ago. Now, 6 figures in per month being made with real estate plus $1 million portfolio. Part-time. 5 years. So you can't tell me it ain't real because we did it. And I'm showing you how to do that in the boot camp, but most importantly in Wealthy Family Network. Because let me tell y'all something. If we do not understand what it takes to build wealth, I know y'all probably hear my son in there. If we don't understand what it takes to build wealth, how can we become wealthy? We do not need to be out here wishing, hoping, and praying. We need to be implementing, strategizing, and making stuff happen. Period. All right. So I had saw this post on Facebook where they was tearing down all the stuff in my hometown. And I'm like, y'all, we got to get like this is happening. Whether you want it to happen or not, it's happening, right? But you have to put yourself in position so that you are not left behind because you will be left behind. They will take your property. They will do whatever they got to do to make. Case in point, this is what I want you to do. Go to your local government website and I want you to look up the development plans. That will tell you what they're looking to do in your county. For instance, Charlotte, if you go and look up their property, one of their things that they was doing in Charlotte was building around the new train line, the trail that they're building. They was building that around in Charlotte. I forgot where. I think it was near Tryon Road. Every property that was around that trail line was considered opportunity zone because they wanted people to buy them, fix them up, put businesses and new houses there to raise the value because they about to bring a whole trail line. It was part of the development plan. So if you bought along that line, oh, you making money. Another case in point here in Atlanta, right? The belt line. If you would have purchased a house around that belt line, your house would have doubled in value in less than 10 years. Doubled, if not triple. That is the world we live in, y'all. I want y'all to understand, this is not about black, white. This is our history. This is about economics. Economics, we are built in a capitalist society, which means that investors and business owners are the ones that's going to make the most money. That's just how they are continuously carving this thing out. So if you're not on that end, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities. Because you're not putting yourself in position to build wealth and make money. Do you not know that the IRS, right? You can invest, you can put your money into certain things, but there are certain opportunities that you cannot put your money in. You have to meet a certain criteria. If you're married, it's 300,000. If you're single, it's 200,000 a year. Plus $1 million, at least $1 million in net worth outside of your primary residence. A lot of people are millionaires because of their primary. Only because of their primary. So technically, the SEC, IRS said, no, you can't be open to these opportunities because you got to have $1 million outside of your primary residence plus 6 figures a year to really be open to the big deals. If you ever played Cash Flow Quadrant, I love that game. Man, it's the next level of Monopoly, okay? The first part of that is you have this circle. It's called the rat race. And we feel like that's what we're in, right? The rat race. We're just going on and on. It just seemed like the 30th or the first just come around like it ain't nothing. Bills, 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 right? That's the rat race. The only way in this game, I'm telling you, the only way you can get out of that rat race is thinking like an investor and making more money and taking risk. The problem is we're scared to take risk, but you will sit at a job for years to come, which is just as risky because the job ain't loyal to you. It's just as risky. So if you really want to quit your job, think about it. What can I do now to get the heck up out of here? How can I put myself in position, or at least put myself in position so if I decide I'm getting sick, I can't take care of myself, I got to go take care of family, I got to move, whatever that is, think about it. How are you going to do that outside of your income? And with a business, you got to make sure that mug is set up with a system so that you're not the one running it. But oftentimes, most of us don't know how to run a business. We run a self-employed business, which means that you are the boss and you are also the job. Without you, it just don't make money. So how can we get out of that? How can we put ourselves in position to continue to make money, whether you work or not? If you're sick, if you're not feeling good, real estate is one of those options that once you learn that high income skill, not only can you continue to repeat it over and over again, but now you can take the opportunity to teach your kids. Because by the time they turn 18, they can be getting their properties. By law, you got to wait till you're 18 before you can get a residential property, right? But that just goes to show you, like, why are we not setting our kids up to make money outside of a job? Why not? Who is this hurting? It's not hurting you to teach them a high income skill. So no matter where they go and what they do, they can go make money. They can go, let me case another example. Went to Jamaica, right? Saw I saw nothing but opportunity. I'm like, oh man, we went from one side to the other side. We was all over Jamaica. From one end to the other. But one of the things I realized that some cities are built more than others. Some have different vibes. But when I looked at how much it costs to get a property over there, oh my God, I was blown away. Blown away. I said, okay, we need to get a property in Jamaica. That's something we're working on as a short-term rental. Because guess what? We can benefit from it. Go over there and stay. Family can benefit from it. I can be able to teach that in the 100K club, right? It's a skill. It's a skill. And once you learn it, it's just like a bike. You're going to get on it and you can do it over and over again. But are you willing to take the time and invest in yourself to make that happen? Come on, Bobby. Come on now. Because this is your time. If you don't make it your time, it will never be your time because nobody is going to allow for you to make no money. You got to go and make it yourself. So why not learn something that's going to allow for you to put yourself in a better position and step away whether you want to work or not? You got to be an investor. You have to be. If you're not willing to bet on yourself and learn something, if you are in school and you ever went to college, if you ever went to high school, middle school, it don't matter. They are teaching you how to be a part of the system. I love NC State to death. Go Wolfpack. That's my alma mater, right? One thing, the first class they made me take was entrepreneurship. I sat there in that class and they said, how many of y'all, and I'm telling y'all, they were driving BMWs, Range Rovers, Mercedes. This is first year freshman. I'm driving, my aunt gave me a Toyota Corolla. Grateful. So he said, how many of you, your business parents owns entrepreneurship 101? How many of your parents own businesses? The majority of the class raised their hand, and it was mainly Caucasians and Asians. It was a couple of sprinkle of black folks in there. All of them, the majority of them raised their hand. And then he said, how many of you are here to take over your parents' business? They raised their hand. The majority of them. They're there to learn a skill. That skill is going to carry over for life. They had to learn the basics. So why not learn the basics that's going to carry over for generations to come? You can learn business and real estate, but I'm going to tell you, real estate is going to allow to pay you while you're learning it. That's where we got to get to. So if we're not willing to learn that, then how are we going to prosper? So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm telling y'all, the 100K payday, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Get y'all butts in this boot camp. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. I promise you. But for them 3 days we're going to be in that boot camp, you're going to have your plan. You're going to know exactly what it's going to take for you to make $100,000, $100,000 in your bank, $100,000 in equity, and have $100,000 in income coming in per year. We got to get to ourselves to that. And 100,000 is just the basics because that ain't even enough. That's not even enough, right? So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Number one, remember, acquire those properties. Take the time to learn the skills so you can acquire the properties. You're setting up that 5 to 10 year plan. Once you acquire those properties, start paying them properties down so you can build that income up and that equity up, right? And then the most important thing, you got to protect those assets. But once you learn this skill, I promise you, you're going to eat for life. you're going to eat for life. All right. So that's how you quit your job. Okay. That's how you quit your job. That is how you do it, you guys. I appreciate y'all for coming out. If you got any questions, please message me. Um, Message me and get your butts in the 100K payday boot camp so we can map out your 100K payday. All right, where it's happening May 26th. And yeah, man, we're going to go make that money. I hope you are joining me in the 100K boot camp so you can make it too and you can fire your boss. All right, beautiful bosses. I will see you tomorrow. Until then,